Hello, my name is Mariel Miranda and I live in Tijuana since 20 years now. And I'm very happy to be here today showing you some of my studio, some of my pieces of work and some of the strategies that I use to create some of my projects. I was the second site award of the 2019, and thanks to that I was able to give a lecture in the edition of the festival that year. And yeah, I don't know, I'm very grateful, very happy to be here, and thanks to Scott to give me the chance of giving this studio tour to all of you. I know that for all of us it's a very strange moment, very weird, but perhaps with this kind of strategies we can be able to open new dialogues between each other, between all the photographers around the world. And I hope that this kind of introduction to the things that for me is useful in my work can be helpful for you too. So I will talk about three things that I usually do, and that in the years it's been I don't know, like perhaps helpful for my different projects. And I would like to concentrate in the tools that it's not the camera or it's not the images itself, but other type of tools or methodologies or strategies. So the first one I want to talk about, it's about my notebook. And in this notebook, I always try to write. And I don't know if you also write when you go to a trip, or maybe if you read something and then you do your notes. But for me, that strategy is very, very helpful. So I have these kind of notebooks, all white. And in this, I usually write a lot of things related, sometimes with exhibitions, sometimes with things that I do with my grandmother, for instance. And it's kind of, it's not a diary, it's not a journal, it's more like essays or even only list of things that I see in some places. It's random ideas, but with the time when I go back to these kind of readings, for me it's kind of helpful for keep thinking in my own projects. And I have different types of notebooks. For instance, and this other one is a notebook that I use only for the purpose to create all my notes for a specific project. That is a project of Simone de Beauvoir road trip to in the 47. She traveled for the first time to America, and I use her book as my map. So I reenact the trip that she did in the 47. I was able to do this road trip in last year. So in this notebook, I keep all the tracks of my readings, of my ideas, that what I can be, what I like to do during this trip. And believe it or not, was because of this notebook that I was able to create different pieces when I was in the actual journey. And that's one thing that I always use. The other thing that I like to do is to get insights or get more like outside ideas of my projects through books, of course. And for instance, for this project that I was telling you about the Simone de Beauvoir road trip, the one thing that for me was very helpful was to do these kind of maps of concepts or different topics that she was discussing in this book. So I start to notice that, for instance, she talks about landscape, and also I noticed that she did some mentions about Mexican or Mexicanity or Mexico. So because I keep this track of concepts, where all the pages where she mentioned these different topics, I was capable, or I was inspired to do this specific project of the road trip, and to in this road trip try to discuss with her, to all these years apart between us, about these two concepts, landscape and citizenship, or the imaginary representation of the Mexicanity. And when I was doing that, I was able to do a lot of pictures, but I want to show you some of the pictures that was the result of that journey. I'm still trying to keep this project open. I have a lot to write about it. I have a lot of images to see, and a lot of things to editing, and I hope like soon found the time and the opportunity to get close all this project. And the other thing I want to show you is my binders. And for me, binders is like the best, because in this kind of tools I can put all the materials where I like to work. For instance, this is the binder of a specific project, and another binders like this, it helped me to create categories of images, and then I go back to these images and create different projects. For instance, this is the sheet, or the different images that I didn't use for a project that I was for the F-16 group with Scott, and the result of that work of putting these images together, and then when I have the chance to do a project, I did small collages like this. And hopefully soon I will reunite with the people who have my collage, and we will have a discuss about the history of the gaze and how was instrumentalized by different mediums, like entertainment, like science, like navigation. It's like there's 13 different collage, and every one of them is related to a specific topic with the instrumentalization of the gaze. And that was thanks to my binders, and thanks to readings, of course. And the last project I want to talk to you about is this other project that is called Penumbra. Perhaps you have seen some of this in the page of Medium, or even in my Instagram if you follow me. And I think that this project was produced thanks to, of course, another book that is this book. It's an encyclopedia, illustrated encyclopedia. And when I was working on this, I started to realize that a lot of scrap images was left behind. And because I start to keep all these rests or residuums of the images, I was then capable to do another project. But yeah, I don't know, keep in mind that tools that maybe can be helpful for you. And if you have another tool that it's not the camera or not the images itself, that for you it's convenient, that it's not your laptop either, also you maybe can write us about it and share what is the different tools that you use in your studio, and it's helpful for you and for your projects, and for keep I don't know, source of inspiration for your own process. And well, to end this video, I would like to sum around. This is my table of work. I did this table with my dad, and it was very helpful also because I was able for the first time to see a lot of images putting together in only one space. And this is a place where I hide all my binders and my encyclopedias, what I work with. And this is the room of the secrets, as you can see. And more boxes and more places where I put my scraps and images. And I don't know, that is it. Thank you very much, everyone. Keep safe. Bye-bye.